Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our series here on pseudocode in Java. So again, we are not getting into the Java programming language itself quite yet, but we are getting into some of the fundamental stuff that we need to know before we jump into an actual IDE environment or an integrated development environment, an ID environment. IDE and whatever. Anyway, this is where we left off before with just this basic program. Now I've noticed that my mouse is not appearing on the display capture for whatever reason. So I'm gonna just highlight everything real quick so you can see it just kind of appearing here and there. Understand that if I do kind of go off, it'll disappear. So I'm sorry about that in advance, but that's okay. We won't need it for this purpose anyway. In case you were wondering what the explanation was for all this stuff, please see my previous video. It goes in detail as to where all this stuff came from. We typed this out by hand. We didn't copy paste a thing. So we're going to go ahead and build off of what we have here to try to get some more examples here. And the first thing I want to see is that, well, we have some variables, which is fine. But what if we want to do a little bit more than that? What if we want to do more than just find the sum? Well, we want to do a couple other things. We want to do, we'll say num product, num difference, and num quotient. Now, I think I'm using this word right. Quotient is one I'm not too familiar with, actually, because I'm just not that great at math, but that's okay. Again, what we're doing here is a sum is the result of when one number is added to another number. A product is when one number is multiplied by another number. The difference is when you take one number and you subtract it from another number. And a quotient is the result when you divide those two numbers, right? So now, instead of just doing the sum, we're doing all four of our basic operations. Multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. I want to make sure I hit all them there. So first thing we want to do is make sure we get our variables to be the same, right? Which this is still accurate right here. We're still getting getting values for those variables. We're still getting first number. We're still getting second number. We still have this unbelievably cool computer guy who's like, "Hey, dude, it looks like you have a number there," right? We're gonna give him that voice. I think that's a good voice for a computer. Hey, dude, looks like you have a number there. What is it? Well, we're going to give him the first number, which we'll just say, I don't know, for our purposes, we'll just say it's 3, right? Now, this is just notes. This is not something you would actually put like in your program, but we'll just say 3 equals the first number. Right. Great. So then, hey, dude, it looks like you have another number there. What's that one? And of course, that's going to be our second number, right? And just like before, we'll say this one is, I don't know, 6. 6 should be fine. And that'll be our second number. Great. Okay. So what we're going to do is set up some equations here, set up some things here for us to do. Wow, dude, you've got great numbers. Looks like you're just having some fun with them. Right, sum is that. We will say now the product is, and we will say that would be equals first number times that second number, right? Now notice we use the asterisk here for times, for multiplication. We don't use an X because an X to Java means the letter X. It doesn't mean multiplication like you would be if you were shorthanding us. So the asterisk here means multiplication, which is fine and dandy. Now we're going to do the difference. The difference equals, now this is the first time we have to think about the order that we have these numbers in. For our purposes, for this purposes right now, I'm not going to put anything that's going to check to make sure that we are subtracting a lower number from a higher number. I'm simply going to know in my mind that 6 is higher than 3. So I'm going to make second number go first here. So we'll say second number minus first number. Right? Now, there are ways to prevent that happening in Java when we get to it. There are ways to make sure that this is a little more fluent, a little easier to think about. But for the time being, this should be just fine, right? The difference is the second number minus the first number. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for the quotient variable, which will be second number divided by the first number. Now, again, notice I used a different symbol than you might have ever seen. I used a slash here. I didn't use the division symbol. In fact, I don't know if there's a division symbol even on the even on the keyboard. If there is, I don't know how to make it. So basically, this just means dividing, which is pretty similar to what you've probably seen. This isn't terribly uncommon, but it might be different than what you might have seen if you're just now jumping into anything like this ever. So quotient is the second number divided by the first number, second number minus the first number times the second number. Right now, we can put a comment over here. Notice we use the slashes for comments too. We might say that this is commutative. Right, and we might say this is commutative. Now let's imagine that we are in a real development environment. We might say this is like not commutative, right? So if we were in a real environment working with real programmers doing real things, we might get away with doing this exact same thing because we want them to try to fix this problem for us later. Remember, if we are working with a team of 10 or 15 people, and this is our goal, is to create a calculator, kind of like this one, we want to make sure that everyone knows what we're doing, what everyone's responsible for. So if someone says, okay, Dale, I need you're in charge of the I/O statements up here, that's great. Who's going to be in charge of the first step of processing here? I don't know, it'll be Tim. Okay, Tim's going to go through and look at this. He's going to say, oh, wait, we only have the sum. We don't have product or difference in quotients. Let's add those in. Well, he knows right away, I don't have time to think about, testing the absolute value of these numbers, right? So instead, I'm just going to indicate that these aren't commutative, which is why they're separated this way. It's just kind of a way to leave a little Post-it note for the next time you look at this document or the next time someone else looks at this document to see, okay, second number, first number, not commutative, cool. Now, using a whole lot of comments like this isn't necessarily good practice, but using many comments is especially separating out portions of your code. So again, you'll see where I've got comment here at declaration, comment here at get values for these variables, comment here at processing, comments here for each one of these to just let someone know, hey, this is commutative, hey, this is commutative, this doesn't. The order here matters a lot because second number minus the first number is going to be different than your first number minus second number, right? 6 take away 3 is different than 3 take away 6, right? The difference actually is 6 between both of those variables. So the same is true for the quotient equals second number divided by first number, right? Not commutative. So we want to make sure that those notes are in there. Output. Now we have another guy working on output statement, and we'll go ahead and we'll just say, I don't know, spitting out those results. Spitting out the results. Using magic, I'm going to declare that the blank is. Now I'm going to copy this same line 3 times, right? One for each operation. Using magic, I'm going to declare that the sum, right? But instead of calling this one sum, I'm going to call this one difference. Okay? I'm going to call this one product. And I'm going to call this one quotient. And, well, actually what I'm going to do is put the difference as our third one down. We'll get rid of this one just to clean it up a little bit here. Bang. Very good. And then we will say sum, product, difference, quotient, SPDQ. Yes, we're good. So this looks good so far. There's still something we need to change here, though. But now we make sure we match everything here. Number, sum, product, quotient, difference. The sum is still exactly the same, but we're gonna say the product is, and we're gonna call this one product. Oops, bang, there we go. We'll do one more here that says, what is this difference? Difference? Yeah, we'll give it that space. Why not? No space. Sorry. This doesn't really matter. Just thinking about how I want to be organized here. Okay, and then we'll go to the quotient is plus quotient. Cool. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at that. We have now an even more complicated pseudocode than we did before. A very exciting pseudocode here. Now we're doing a whole lot more stuff here. We've got a lot more processing. We've got more variables here than we were playing with before. We're doing more things with them down here, which is very interesting, very nice. We're up to, what is this, 40 lines of code already. Oh my goodness. Oh, not 40 lines. 35 lines of code. 35 lines of code, I think. Yeah. So 35 lines of code, and all we've done is 4 things, guys. Wow, we're gonna take off before long. Cool. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We'll go into another video here shortly that'll describe some other things we can do with other numbers. Thanks so much.